This is Top20English.com, and this is an episode on alphabet and phonics, and it's an exploration or a navigation of our directory on alphabet and phonics. As you see it's the first link on our Top20English.com website, and if we click on alphabet and phonics, it'll take you to our created directory concerning both alphabet and phonics. We start this with ABC songs because this is the way most children learn their ABCs. We have 5 links here for learning the ABCs with song. And following this, we have 5 sites about learning ABCs A to Z. And the first 3 sites go through the pronunciation of the words and begin with those letters and learning the alphabet with sounds. The last 2 links here are an American English Pronunciation Dictionary, which illustrates how to form the sounds. And the second link here, the last link, is the 72 Orton phonograms that describe not just the 26 letters of the alphabet, but also combinations of letters. The next site has to do with typing, and that's a good way to learn the alphabet, is to learn how to type with the alphabet. And the next group of recommendations here have to do with 3-letter words and phonics. Not all the English words can be pronounced phonetically, but 50% of words can be sounded out phonetically in the English language. And then there's about another 36% of the words in the English language that can be sounded out with the exception of one vowel or one letter. And that means that if you learn the rules for using 2 vowels, that you can pronounce most of the words in English. But then there are some sight words that just have to be sort of memorized because they don't follow any rules. Now, the first link we have here is English Anyone. It's a playlist of 12 videos. And this, I think, is the best site for learning English through phonics with these 12 videos. Following this, we have the site that explains the 1 and 2 vowel rules. And basically, this says that if there are 2 vowels in a single syllable word, that the first one does the talking and the second one is silent. So the rule is sort of if 2 vowels go walking, the first one does the talking and it says its name. It says the long vowel name. So these rules are very helpful in learning some of the exceptions. The next one has to do with short vowels, and this is just an illustration. And then the next 5 links are from First Step Reading, and these have to do starting with 3-letter single syllable words that have 3 letters using the short vowel A, short sound of E, and the relative or short sound of U. And then the next 2 have to do with consonant blends at the beginning of a word, where there's more than one consonant at the beginning of a word, and then when there's more than one consonant at the end of the word. And these are very useful links for learning English through phonics. The next one is Starfall, which has just always been an excellent site for learning to read using phonics, and we highly always recommend Starfall for learning to read with phonics. The next one is flashcards, which is simply an illustration of using 3-letter words. And then the last 5 links are Hooked on Phonics, which is another great site for learning English using phonics. And the first one is a phonics playlist, which has an extensive list of videos for this. But we've chosen 4 that we think are particularly useful, going from kindergarten through 1st grade of learning to read with phonics. The next site, next group of websites has to do with sight words. As I noted before, about 15% of the words in English have to be learned through memorization, or what these are called sight words. There are exceptions to the rules. And we have 2 sites here, one for learning 100 sight words, and the next is a video for, again, learning sight words on a video. And this link here is Learning Chocolate. And Learning Chocolate, for example, is a picture dictionary. So if you click on something like learning fruits, you have something like an apple,
Apple.
And it will give you the auto pronunciation of the word. And this groups all the, this is a way of expanding your vocabulary. And the last group of recommendations we have here is for learning to read with sentences, simple sentences. This is a site that helps you learn with using illustrations.
Hello.
So we have all these sentences are learned with illustration, and you click what type of sentences you want to learn, and they're illustrated. Then Speaking English Basics uses some contractions, such as the way things are usually said in English, such as rather than saying I am, you're saying I'm, or if you say, rather than saying have not, you might say haven't. And it's a good way to fill in, I'm good at swimming, I'm good at driving, I'm good at reading. Number of ways to learn the vocabulary in sentences. Storyline.net is an excellent site for learning English using children's books, which are read by actors. And you can see that this site will take you to books that are read by actors, and they're done with closed captioning. That's a great way to learn to read as well. Then we have our Top 20 Kids site. We have a reading section, and this has stories with closed captioning. It has songs from movies with closed captioning, ABC Phonics, nursery rhymes and grammar. We have recommended applications or apps for learning to read on the site as well. And this is what it does in preschool and K through 3, apps for learning to read. And then finally, this is our program, Top 20 English, a program for learning the first 200 words of English. And we do this using both images and translation services. So first we have Quizlet, learning the first 200 words using images through the flashcard site Quizless. And then we take the Quizlet, and then we use these same 200 words and put them in a list. And then we have use the same 200 words and we put them in sentences. And these sentences can be copied and put into the translator, Google, or either Google or Bing Translator, and translated in as many as 103 different languages, such that a student can, who's self-motivated, can do this pretty much on their own with very little instruction. So these websites that we've just gone through are all great references for teachers to use for students as well. And our next video will be on this program that we have for learning the first 200 words of English. So we'd appreciate you giving a look at these references, and we think we'll find them very useful for learning both the alphabet and phonics and learning to read.